Welcome to another episode of Brandon's Basic BJJ. We're back in my pajamas, and today we're going to be looking at a beginner sweep, the scissor sweep. So, we're going to start in bottom closed guard. Now normally this sweep would be done in the gi, where we have the luxury of the material, and we don't. So normally this would be a collar and sleeve grip. So we're going to substitute that for a collar tie and either a tricep or a wrist grip with a C grip. So for this sweep, it's really quite simple. All I'm going to do is I'm going to unlock my hips so I can turn out. I'm going to pull and push on my opponent's head. So we're pushing on the back of the head while pulling on the arm. And it's called a scissor sweep because I'm doing a scissoring motion with my legs. I'm going to chop. This motion combined with the pull is going to make our opponent flip over for the sweep. It looks simple, but let's look at some nuances so you can get it perfect every time. And most beginners are going to run into a problem like this. If your opponent ever feels heavy when you're sweeping them over, a simple tip that I'm going to give you is instead of thinking about sweeping them side to side, think about throwing them over your shoulder. So when I'm going for my scissor sweep, instead of trying to chop my opponent sideways, where he's going to feel quite heavy, when I pull on that tricep, I want to think about going over my right shoulder. If I pull this way, it's going to lighten up your opponent by changing where the body weight is and you make the sweep easier. Another common problem you'll run into is what happens when your opponent widens out and spreads their knees out, like this. If your opponent widens their base out and spreads their knees, it's going to be very hard to chop them down when their base is low. So instead, we're going to change how we go about our sweep. I'm actually going to place my knee right on the top, my foot, right on the top of their knee. Instead of trying to sweep over, I'm going to push down while I pull. And I can still execute my scissor sweep. So we're going to do a little review to finish off today's lesson. Scissor sweep is from the bottom closed guard. I'm going to take a collar tie on the back of my opponent's head. I'm going to grab the tricep. I'm going to unlock my legs, turn my hips over to the sweeping side. We're doing a chopping, scissoring motion with our legs, and at the same time we're pulling on our opponent's arm, pushing down on their head, and finally, instead of side to side, we're going over the shoulder. You combine that together, you've got yourself a nice easy sweep. And again, if my opponent settles with a low base, we're going to turn our hips, place our foot right on top of their knee, and we're going to push while pulling through. And that's how you do the perfect scissor sweep. See you guys next time.